Good afternoon, everyone. I'm waiting to see the presentation up. But let me say that how wonderful an audience you are. You're all here. Yes? And when I look at the time, it's now 4 p.m. And that says to me your great commitment to this. Yes, so thank you so much. So, let me see if I'm getting this right. All right, so I needed to present because I wanted the visual while I speak. Thank you so much, Fitzbilly, for that commendation to Customs. And Team Customs received that commendation well. Now, as I mentioned, Customs, who is the Jamaica Customs Agency? What is the Jamaica Customs Agency? What are we about? I don't take it for granted that persons know us. And so we are an organization coming out of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. But we are an organization that treats with the protection of our borders, facilitating trade, as well as the equitable collection of duties and taxes. But also, more importantly, protecting people, society, everyone from and against illicit imports. So just to delve in a little bit on our functions, assess and collect the duties and taxes, but also looking at penalties that are due on these imports based on breaches as well. Interdict seize, contraband, process passengers, cargoes, vessels, mails, you name it. I am sure every one of you in here had an interaction with Customs, and I hope that it was a pleasant one. I hope that when you are if there was any duties and taxes involved, you paid it graciously. I hope we didn't have to charge anyone or breach anyone for not complying with the laws, because you're all compliant persons here. So we protect the general welfare of the society. We protect and secure as well Jamaica by enforcing the import and export restrictions. But how do we tie into this POCA? Why are we here? The Jamaica Customs Agency not only enforces its Customs Act, but it enforces over 125 laws, including the Proceeds of Crime Act. And we are very proud to do so. So, how are we involved in the Proceeds of Crime Act? So customs officers are included in the definition of authorized officers for the purposes of cash seizures and application for forfeiture of seized cash under the Act. Also, we are also included in the definition as an authorized officer for the purposes of forfeiture, civil recovery, or money laundering, investigation under POCA. Mr. Keith Darren, you gave us a challenge. We are taking on that challenge. We know that though we are officers, authorized officers under the Act, that there's more that we can do. And we're here to say that we are willing and we will be doing more.
Hear, hear.
Thank you. So in terms of that alignment, in terms of how the JCA is committed to POCA, because that's the reason why I'm here on this panel, to talk about our commitment in widening the use of POCA. So if you think about one of our mandate, as it were, border protection, the POCA speaks to that. And so it is aligned to the JCA's border protection mandate. We are about robust enforcement of that POCA mandate as well. We continue to advance our POCA cases, and I will speak a little bit more. We enforce and enhance the use of POCA. Much is needed and continue to be said about training and capacity building, and that's something that we're serious about. This conference is about collaboration and partnership, and that's something that we're serious about as well. So we recognize that organized crime is driven by high profits from criminal activities. And as we speak about protecting the borders, we know that we are at risk to narcotic trafficking, firearm trafficking, intellectual property rights, fraud. And so the work continues for us in ensuring that we are enforcing the provisions of Proceeds of Crime Act. We recognize that criminal actors seek to disguise origin of illicit money from law enforcement to use the money for personal use and continued criminal enterprise. We recognize that criminal actors still attempt to move illicit money across the borders. And so, due to our unique positioning, we are well placed to ensure that we are putting a dent, preventing and stopping and combating these activities such as money laundering, as well as seizing illicit cash. How do we enforce POCA? Well, it starts with the very officers that you interact with at our ports of entry, our customs officers, whether it be mainly at the airports and sometimes at the seaports. And our investigation and proceeding arise from the detection and detention of the cash from passengers at the airports, as well as other means, whether it be at the seaport or by processing of cargo and mail. Can you believe that we have had to detect monies hidden in luggages, concealed in clothing, lining of clothing, concealed in foodstuff, cans, bags of rice? Such innovation. But I'm here to say that our team at the Jamaica Customs Agency is ready and prepared to do the necessary as it relates to interdicting and stopping these items. And we have the investigations that are conducted. And some of the investigators are here because we have a competent team treating with this. We continue to advance the POCA cases, and the JCA advanced the POCA enforcement through cash seizure investigation, of course, and forfeiture proceeding. Now, the agency is ably represented by our own legal team who take these matters through the court. And just to give an idea that as of January of this year, we have 203 active cases of POCA currently being handled by our legal team. Can I just get an acknowledgement on that? Now, some of my team members are here from the investigations, from legal, from intelligence. And, I'm happy that they're here to continue the work and just for me to say thank you, Team Customs. So in furtherance of the work, what are the outcomes? So far, we have seized cash in the over $2 million, 2.7. We have approximately 205 cases being investigated, and that's for the period 2020 to 2022. In terms of forfeiture and orders, 48. In terms of forfeited cash, approximately 1 million. And currently, as I mentioned before, 203 cases actively in the courts. Thank you so much. There's a reason why I said I'm proud of this audience. You're quite generous. Thank you. So as we enhance the use of POCA, the JCA has increased its efforts towards conducting money laundering investigation where the circumstances has lent themselves. Now, where the JCA recognizes that it may not have the resources to undertake an investigation, then guess what? The great FID is there. And I say great because that's true. The great FID is there. And of course, we forward the relevant documentation files for their review and guidance and support. Now, the cases refer to FID also for conduct further investigations into the persons who we believe may or might be involved in money laundering. Now, earlier when I started the presentation, I indicated that we're authorized officers under 2 sections of the POCA Act, one speaking to seize cash and the other speaking to investigation. We recognize that we are limited in pursuing the money laundering investigation, and we have given a commitment that that is no longer so for us because we're trying to strengthen that. And of course, Mr. Hay is always pushing for us to, improve, get better in our investigative techniques. And so they have assisted us greatly. There's a lot more to do, but certainly we have to continue the work and get it right. So we are committed to building the technical competencies of the JCA staff in forfeiture, civil recovery, money laundering investigation, financial investigation, and anti-money laundering strategies. And we recognize that trade-based money laundering is a growing concern. We recognize that the agency who is so best placed at the borders, treating with trade transactions, are not actively in money laundering investigation. And we are now doing the necessary work to improve on that. And so whatever is needed, we continue in terms of training because we continue in terms of the awareness, we continue in terms of the partnership with FID. What has happened is that we have seized a number of cash. And so you're happy with that. However, you have to look further. Look at the linkages and the association, right, Rocher? Right? And Cassell? So you have to look at where the money is going, what kind of goods are coming in, right? How is this facilitated? And ensuring that they're not using customs and government to regularize their illicit gains, right? So the awareness continues and the work continues. Now, just to say a little bit on the trade-based money laundering, that it really represents the process of disguising the proceeds of crime and moving value through trade transaction to legitimize their illicit origins, right? And from a customs perspective, they can achieve this through the price to quantity, the quality of the imports. You can either declare a lower value or you can declare a higher value. It's a way to ensure that you regularize your illicit, your ill-gotten gains. And we also recognize that this technique of trade-based money laundering has various complexities, but we're willing to go through every scenario so that we stop them before it continues further. I spoke about training, and we recognize at the Jamaica Customs Agency that it takes a multidisciplinary team. In the old dispensation, it was about just our investigators knowing more about, especially the trade-based money laundering. Now we have expanded that, and we have included now not only our legal officers and our investigators, but our auditors. Our audit mainly from the post-clearance audit and our internal auditors, and also persons within our finance, because we want Team Customs to be fully aware and to look out for all the instances of infractions against proceeds of crime. So in terms of the training, just to highlight that we have received several training, mainly because, again, of the great FID. And so there's just to enumerate a few, as a result of the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement, we did a civil recovery live training exercise. We did a combating trade-based money laundering workshop. We did also an awareness for managers training course on financial investigation techniques. We did workshop on unexplained wealth orders and account freezing orders. We also look at drafting application and affidavits for further orders for continued detention of seized cash under POCA. Right? So those who are here and not familiar, now you have better understanding. So we speak a lot about collaboration and partnership, because without that, we're nothing. And I am happy for the great relationship that I've had with the men here. I don't know where Pastor turned. Right? Huh? Oh, you're right here. Right. But I'm happy for this relationship. And this is something that I encourage each and every one of us. You have to build relationship with your colleagues. But it comes with trust. And that trust comes with demonstrated integrity and accountability and credibility. Okay? So that is something that I believe in, and this is something that we have worked on and has proven well for us. And what it has done is cause us to work better together, not only for ourselves and the institution that we represent, but most importantly for Jamaica. So this sharing of information, the collaboration include sharing information and intelligence to our strategic investigative partners. We have signed an MOU with FID, but I call it a renewal, because we had one in place already, right, Mr. A? We had one in place already, right? And so that has also demonstrated that gives us a proper mechanism to work through. Now, what is this MOU about? Why is this MOU? Because a lot of time we talk about MOUs. This MOU for Jamaica Customs and the FID is about the strategic working relationship. It's about fostering deeper levels of collaboration and information sharing. It's about exchange of technical expertise and training as the core pillars. We use also joint use of intelligence to combat the cross-border movement of organized criminal activities. And of course, we work side by side with partners to not only stifle organized criminal activities, but to achieve a more stable financial sector and investor-friendly Jamaica. Mr. Hay looks so handsome, right? Say yes. So just to say that we at the Jamaica Customs Agency remain committed to, play our part in Jamaica's anti-money laundering framework. We know that as law enforcement, we are here to be disruptive actors to the illicit flow, and we will continue to do our work as it relates to dismantling the efforts of organized crime. And of course, we continue and are committed to work with FID and our other strategic partners to ensure that we take the profit out of crime. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.